Oh boy, it's time to talk about all the trailers we saw at San Diego Comic-Con this year. By which I mean all the Warner Brothers trailers, because nobody else even bothered to show up. Do I still really even need to do a trailer reaction for...
Fuck Batman.
Fair enough, there are indeed things to talk about. But alright, let's start with the Shazam trailer, and I was kind of hesitantly looking forward to this trailer, because DC has been trying to go so dark and so edgy with their movies, and they have fallen so hard on their face, at least in my opinion, and in the opinion of the general audiences, as it seems. So, I looked at this, and I was like, you can't go that dark and edgy with Shazam, and DC even came in here and said, no, we're not going to go dark and edgy with this, we're going to go all ages, family-friendly fun, we're going to go uplifting and hopeful, and I was like, okay, that's great, but what's your definition of all ages fun? You say the right words, let's see your execution on this. And when the trailer began, it was very clear this was the New 52 version of Billy Batson, and I kind of hate the New 52 version of Billy Batson, because Billy Batson was supposed to be this pure, sweet, good cinnamon roll, and that was kind of important to his character, because the wizard Shazam gave him his powers, gave him the powers of a god, because he was like, I have to find someone who is completely pure of heart. Someone who is totally good to give these powers to, and that's why he gave them to a child, and it was kind of making a message about how, yeah, the older you get, the more jaded you get, the more corrupted to the world you get, the darker you get. So, if he was going to find someone who was pure of heart, he had to kind of look to a child. That was actually kind of an important message about the origin of Shazam, about Billy Batson. But in the New 52 version of him, Billy Batson's a jerk. Billy Batson is a total, like, I don't even care about it. Why are you even talking to me, foster parents? Like, he is just so fed up and mad at the world. And I was so upset when I saw that version of Billy Batson. In fact, in the New 52, when the Wizard Shazam tried to give him his powers, and he was like, I need someone's pure heart and pure good. Billy Batson even tells him, there's no such thing as pure good. No one is. And Shazam was like, maybe you're right. But maybe you could become pure good. Maybe you could become pure of heart. I was like, wow, they even in this origin just stop and say that old origin doesn't work anymore. And, oh boy, I just was so ticked off by that in the comics. And you're looking at this trailer and it's like, yeah, it's the New 52. I'm just mad at the world version of Billy Batson. Oh man, I was not looking forward to that. And then when he gets adopted and he goes to his foster home and is meeting his foster brothers and sisters, it has this very weird tone to it. I don't even mean like the way it's shot. I just mean the score was incredibly bizarre because it had like this, we're getting the team together kind of music to it. Like you would see in a badass Expendables style movie of like, boom, 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 boom.
This is Billy Batson. Make sure you make him feel at home.
It's like, that's not the vibe you have when you're meeting your foster brothers and sisters. That's not the way that you present this. This is just bizarre to me. And then he meets Freddy, and Freddy goes, don't trust them. Something is wrong here. And it was in that moment that I remembered, oh god, that's right. This was written and directed by a guy who makes horror movies. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. But then he says, I'm just kidding you, man. I was like, okay. Pulling back a little bit, pulling back, got some faith in this, okay, they're playing, joking around with this a little bit, I see. And there comes the moment in which he meets the Wizard Shazam, and I had seen the photos of Shazam, the hero, in this, and I knew he had the big, glowing lightning bolt on his chest. I was like, okay, that looks fine on him. But you have the Wizard Shazam there, and he's just nothing but pure shadows hidden in robes, but you still got the glowing lightning bolt in there. I was like, okay, they could fix that in editing, but right now it looks like someone is just wearing one of those light-up t-shirts. Like the kind that you see being sold at like, I don't even know if Spencer's Gifts is still a thing, but one of those like mall stores where it's just like, it's a t-shirt, but it's got a light on it. Yeah, it looked like that to me. This did not look all that good to me. But then he turned into Shazam, he got his powers, and I love the rest of this trailer. The rest of this trailer nailed it for me. I know a lot of people were looking at this and they thought it looked kind of goofy after that point. Good! That's literally the entire point of any of this. Shazam is not some kid who got the powers of a god and was like, now I'm going to go out there and deliver justice. And I'm going to be very dark and angry because I want revenge on the world. No, that ain't Shazam, that's Batman. Stop making all these characters Batman. Shazam, it's a teenager who got the powers of a god and now he just wants to have fun with them. Yeah, man, and it's not even a cool teenager either. That's the other thing you have to remember. Billy Batson ain't cool. Billy Batson is a goof. So in that moment where I saw Shazam like dancing, I was like, yeah, I'm totally okay with that. I know that was the moment that so many people were like, oh, this trailer lost me. Fuck, man, that's when this trailer won me over. Okay? I'm totally on board for this. The only moment in that trailer that I didn't really totally enjoy was when you saw Shazam trying to fly by jumping really high. It was a cool effect, and I did enjoy that, like, he and Freddy were, like, experimenting with this, and they were videotaping it. I enjoyed all that stuff. However, the moment that I saw him trying to fly by jumping really high, I went, I know exactly what's going to happen. He's not going to be able to fly. They're going to spend the entire movie with him not being able to fly. There will even be a moment where it's like, fly after him. You know that I can't fly. But then at the big climactic moment, he will learn to fly all of a sudden at that moment. So that was my problem with that scene, is that the moment that I saw that, I was like, I know exactly what's going to be in this movie. Like, I know exactly beat for beat how this movie is going to go. So that was kind of the one big problem I had with all the superhero stuff in here. But aside from that, I thought all this looked fun. The moment in which he was going around charging everyone's phone with lightning, I love that because it was like, yeah, what the heck would a teenager who doesn't know how to be a superhero in a sleepy little town where there isn't a whole lot of crime, what would he do to try and be a superhero? I don't know, charge everyone's phone? That seems like an idea that would actually come to someone's mind and seems like something that a teenager would actually try and do. Hooray! Yay! I like that. That's fun. So, yeah, man, I actually really enjoyed this trailer. I still kind of have a problem that they're going with the New 52, like the angry at the world Billy Batson, but after he gets his powers, it looks like he's just having fun. And I'm totally okay with that. So yeah, awesome. I'm totally on board with this one. Speaking of goofy, the Aquaman trailer. Yes, I do think that this trailer looked incredibly goofy. But that's not a bad thing. It could be a bad thing. It could be really dumb goofy, but it could also be fun goofy. I said on Twitter that I thought that the Aquaman trailer looked really goofy, but I didn't know if that was a good or bad thing. And someone replied back to me, oh, it looks goofy? Yeah, it looks like a Marvel movie. And I was like, I don't know if you're saying that to try and insult me and Marvel, or are you saying that as a compliment to Aquaman? Because it felt like he could have been saying that as like, yeah man, it looks like DC is trying to do what Marvel does with their characters, and Marvel does good stuff with their characters, so I'm okay with that. But it also felt like he could have been turning me as like, oh, you don't like this because it looks goofy? Guess what? The Marvel movies look goofy too. And it's like, I know. That's literally one of the best things about the Marvel movies. Yes, Marvel makes some very serious films, like Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War. But, like, Ant-Man and Wasp, Thor Ragnarok, those things were goofy as hell. And I love them for that. That's one of the biggest things that those movies had going for them. And if they wanted to make the Aquaman movie goofy in the same way that, I don't know, Thor Ragnarok was goofy, cool, okay. And this trailer looked like it could possibly be that. It also looked like they could have been going for cool, and it failed and came off as goofy, and that's where my other big concern is. Like, I don't know if the tone that this trailer has is what you want it to have, because yeah, you got this big magical world of Atlantis in there, but then you got Aquaman just going around being the biggest dude bro in the world, and there's moments in there where the biggest dude bro in the world is giving really emotional speeches about his past and about his history. I'm like, you're not selling that at all. At freaking all. Let that be very small parts of this. Let that be very tiny parts of the movie, and then you just get back to you just being a giant dude bro under the sea. Let this get back to being Drax the Destroyer in Atlantis. That stuff looks like it could be fun. But again, I don't know if you're going for fun or if you're going for cool. Because nothing in this trailer looked cool to me, but it looked fun, and it looked goofy, and goofy can be really fun and enjoyable. So if that's what they were going for, I'm totally on board. If it's not what they were going for, I don't know what to think about the rest of this. So yeah, I'm kind of like 50-50 on this one. It's like, okay, if you were going for this, good. If you weren't going for that, ooh, I don't know how your execution is going to be. But there is one thing in the trailer that I can say for sure. There's one problem that I have with this trailer, at least problem that I have with what this movie looks like, that yeah, I'm kind of holding on to this one. I am actually a little bit concerned now, which is when Black Manta shows up. And don't get me wrong, he looks totally awesome. However, we spend that entire trailer talking about Aquaman's brother, talking about Ocean Master, and talking about Aquaman returning to Atlantis, and having to take the throne, and we're introducing all these other characters in there from Atlantis. I was like, okay, cool, this looks like a pretty solid movie. It looks like, hey, that is a really good introduction to Aquaman, really good introduction to his world, all these other little characters in there. Great, awesome. But then when Black Manta shows up, I went, oh, I forgot you were in this. I forgot you were part of this movie. I forgot that they cast someone to play Black Manta, and it made me start thinking, oh, that's its own story. It feels like you don't need Black Manta in this Aquaman movie if you're going to do Ocean Master. It feels like you should have held off and saved Black Manta for the second Aquaman movie. It kind of reminds me of Black Panther, because if you watched our review for Black Panther, you know that I thought Killmonger was great. I thought he was an incredible villain. But I think he would have been even better if you hadn't have put everything about him in the last half hour of that film. If you had made Killmonger the villain of the second Black Panther film, and you had the first movie be Black Panther going to Wakanda, and you explore Wakanda, and you get all this stuff about Black Panther becoming the king of Wakanda, and you explore like Claw, and he's the villain in there, and you explore Black Panther's family, and all the other tribes of Wakanda. Great, awesome. I think that would have been an incredibly solid film, and I think if in the next film it had just been, hey, you know all that stuff that we established in the first film? I'm coming in here to wreck it all. I'm coming in here to reveal to you everything that you knew about your family and your father. All of it was a lie. I think that would have been an amazing sequel. I felt like they kind of crammed both those films into one thing. Still a very good movie. Still very enjoyable. It's one of Marvel's highest reviewed films. But I think it would have worked even better if they had split that into two films. And when I saw Black Manta suddenly show up at the end of this trailer, I went, oh, he kind of should wait on this one. And then at the end of this, you have an entire war for all of Atlantis breaking out. And I was like, oh, yeah, that kind of seems like a good thing to put in, like, the sequel. It kind of seems like a good thing to put in, like, the second Aquaman film. Establish Atlantis in the first film, then rip it all apart in the second film. This just felt very heavy to me. I mean, you even had, like, the Trench. Those monsters from the Jeff Johns run on Aquaman showing up in here. I was like, oh, shoot, they're in this as well? That is a lot that you are cramming into one movie. And I know that Aquaman has many different villains, but it seems like you're using like all of his big famous ones in one film. Feels like you really should have tried to stretch this out. It felt like DC was like, we don't even know if we're getting an Aquaman 2 at this point. Just put everything in one movie. So yeah, it looks okay. It looks alright. I don't know if the tone that I got from the trailer is the tone they wanted me to get from the trailer, but if it was, then I have some high hopes for this movie. However, it does look really heavy. It looks really crammed together. It looks like they're trying to do too many things in one movie. But, hey man, I've seen other movies out there where they put in a ton of different plots, a ton of elements from the comics, multiple different villains, and they all kind of worked. So this could work as well. Speaking of trailers where I didn't really know what tone they were going for, we finally got a trailer for that new Godzilla film, and I'm really looking forward to this new movie because I absolutely loved like 10 minutes of that first Godzilla film. Because, yeah, the rest of that movie was just teasing you with a Godzilla film. When it actually became a Godzilla film, great, awesome, I was on board with that. And then we got the Kong movie a few years ago. I freaking love Kong Skull Island. That was a great giant monster movie, and it looks like this film learned its lesson from the first film. It learned that the audience wants to let them fight. That was even the tagline of that first film. Kind of weird they didn't learn that lesson in the first film that had that tagline. So, it's going to be just all these giant monsters coming together to do battle. That's exactly what I want to see, but I don't know what type of tone they're going for with this film, because it starts off and it looks like the apocalypse is hit. It looks like the world for humans is destroyed, which it does raise questions about how many humans are left, because I'm sure it's only like a small area that has been destroyed. It's only like maybe one state, a couple towns that's been completely destroyed. The rest of the world is totally fine. But they're making it sound like the entire planet has just been decimated. And if that's the case, didn't you want to build a cinematic universe with these monsters? Didn't you want to have a bunch of sequels for this? Feels like you're kind of, jumping the gun on this one. But again, that could just be misleading in the trailer. That's totally fine. But it looks like the world is destroyed, which is very depressing. But then you got all the kaijus rising up, or titans as they're calling them in this. We'll get to that in a second. You've got all these kaijus rising up, and you have the announcer talking about how they're our only hope. They're what is returning to right this world, to restore balance. And you've got this musical score in there that is so uplifting. It's so hopeful. It makes you feel like, look at these big, magnificent, beautiful monsters just rising back up. Isn't that wonderful? But then you see like Rodan flying over a town, and just the gust of wind from his wings is destroying all these houses. And it's like, that's not incredibly hopeful. That's kind of scary. It's kind of messed up. Why is this musical score making me want to, like, shed a happy tear and applaud it?
You are out of your goddamn mind!
I am sorry, but this is the only way.
Yeah, it was very odd. But then you got, like, King Ghidorah coming down, and then the music gets really dark and dramatic. But then you have, like, a beautiful scene with Mothra in there, which I do absolutely love. That you've got the little girl from Stranger Things in there as the one who is summoning Mothra, because Mothra was originally summoned out by two little girls singing to Mothra, and that was the thing that would bring it out. So I love this idea that they're keeping, it's little girls are the thing that summon Mothra. That's actually really cool that they're trying to like translate that into an American film. I applaud them for that. But yeah, it's just so odd to me that you're seeing massive apocalyptic destruction, but you've got a musical score that's supposed to make you like want to cry with joy over it. It just felt odd to me. But then at the end, it gets really dramatic and dark, and I was like, that kind of feels like what the tone should have been for the rest of this film. But yeah, it looks really good. Just kind of weird musical choices in there, but it does look good. I just kind of feel like maybe we shouldn't be at King Ghidorah just yet. I do like this idea of building up to that moment, and I feel like we need more than just one Godzilla film and one King Kong film. I would have dug just seeing a Mothra movie, and then a second Godzilla film to kind of correct the problems of that last Godzilla film. And then you go into all the monsters battling each other. Kind of feels like we're jumping into that a little bit early, but hey man, it still looks really good to me. And also, I kind of had a weird, sobering moment with the Godzilla trailer, because I thought the Shazam trailer was the best out of Comic-Con. I enjoyed that one the most, and everyone I follow on Twitter pretty much agreed. That's the one that we all enjoyed the most. That one was fantastic, and that's the one that I saw trending on Twitter for the longest, and that's the one that I saw everybody on Tumblr talking about the longest. Yeah, it felt like that was the winner of the trailers at San Diego Comic-Con. But then I jumped onto Variety. Variety was holding a poll to see which trailer won Comic-Con, and I was like, all right, it's gonna be Shazam. Obviously, Shazam was number 4 on this. Number 3 was Glass. Number 2 was Aquaman, and number 1 was Godzilla King of the Monsters with over 55% of the vote. There were like 7 contenders on this list, and it got over 55% by itself. That's insane that 6 other trailers, still all teaming up together, couldn't beat the King of the Monsters. That was incredible to me, and it kind of had to remind me, oh yeah, maybe one of the reasons I'm looking forward to Shazam so much is because I already like the character, and everybody out there knows Godzilla. Not everybody knows Shazam. And yeah, I thought Aquaman looked pretty good, but I already discussed that. But yeah, not everyone out there who isn't a comic fan cares about Aquaman, like at all. And it was just stunning to me to see that, no, that's the thing that everybody digs. And it made me think of when Jurassic World came out, and I was like, was anybody really asking for another Jurassic Park film? I don't think anybody really cares about this. I mean, it looks fun. We'll all go and see it, but, you know, whatever. And then it broke the box office record, and that just completely surprised me. Apparently, the general audiences out there just want giant monsters. Like, that's the big thing with them. And when it comes to superheroes, they love Marvel, but DC, whatever, over there. Which makes me wonder how they're going to feel when all these indie companies start making their superhero films. Like, Spawn? Is anyone going to care about Spawn? I know that Bloodshot movie's coming out. No one's going to care about that Bloodshot movie. Like, at all. I'm sorry, Valiant. It ain't happening. Yeah, man. It did kind of like... That was like my refresher moment, in which I just went, oh, right, every now and again I need a quick reminder of where comic books still stack up compared to other things in entertainment. Marvel's doing great, everybody else, no one really cares about. Hey, Godzilla, everybody! Yeah! Next up, let's go ahead and talk about Glass. Now, this is the follow-up to M. Night Shyamalan's weird superhero trilogy that he's working on. It's the follow-up to Unbreakable, which is hands down my favorite M. Night Shyamalan film. I love that movie. But it's also the follow-up to Split, which I will admit I have not seen yet. It's weird for me to go this long without seeing a horror film that both audiences and critics alike both praised. But, hey, it did get good reviews. Everybody said, oh, this reminds me of old school M. Night Shyamalan. So a lot of people out there are looking at that and saying, hey, if those two movies are great, this one's gonna be great as well. I can't wait to see this movie. I can! Yeah, here's the thing, folks. I know that because of Split and because this is the follow-up to two of his best reviewed films, everybody is fully ready to let that dude out of director jail. I'm not, because do we remember his track record? Yeah, it's great that it looks like he is on the upswing, because The Visit got, it got pretty decent reviews and audience reactions. Split got good reviews and audience reactions, so it is looking like he is going up. It is looking like he is on the right trajectory there. But I'm not willing to, I'm not willing to forgive and forget just yet. I need this movie to be a success, and if it is good, then I will be willing to say, you know what? You've shown that you're on the right path again. Great. Awesome. I will now look forward to an M. Night Shyamalan film. But we're not there yet. I am in the total wait-and-see camp on this one, especially because it also stars Bruce Willis, and M. Night Shyamalan isn't the only one who kind of is in movie jail at the moment, because have you seen the last couple of Bruce Willis films? Bruce Willis kind of just doesn't care anymore. Like, it's very clear whenever he makes a movie, he does not give a fudge at all. Bruce Willis might as well just have "I'm doing this for a paycheck" tattooed on his hand. He just doesn't care. So you've got the actor who for years just stopped caring about acting, pairing up with a guy who spent many years making absolute horrible films, and a lot of people are like, no, it's gonna be okay this time. I'm not with you on this one. That trailer could have been absolutely jaw-dropping amazing. I would not be willing to trust it, even then. So, if the movie turns out good, awesome. As I said, M. Night Shyamalan, it looks like he's on the upswing right now. So, if this movie is great, then cool. It will tell me he has learned his lesson, and I will start trusting him again. But I ain't there yet. And real quickly, I just want to talk about two trailers. We got the trailer for Season 7 of Voltron. I am absolutely loving Voltron. I think they have done an amazing job slowly building up all these characters, and it totally feels like they are heading towards a climax, especially after the end of the last season. So yeah, I am totally hyped for what is coming up in Season 7 of Voltron. Also, I totally missed this news story until this morning when I was preparing for this video, but apparently the creators of Voltron came in here and confirmed that Shiro is gay. Good for you guys. Good for you guys at Voltron. I have nothing else to add to that other than the fact that, hey, yay! Good for Voltron. But another anime trailer that we got the trailer for the Invader Zim movie, and I am a longtime fan of Invader Zim, and this looks like Invader Zim. It looks like all the stuff I was looking forward to. I am totally excited to see this return. I also like this idea that they are acknowledging it's been years since Invader Zim ended, because it does look like Zim is returning, and you see Dib in there, and Dib is just out of shape. He's been sitting in his chair at his computer for years, waiting to see Zim arrive. And I feel like that's the creators making commentary on the Invader Zim fans, because the creator of Invader Zim hates Invader Zim fans because they will not leave him alone about Invader Zim. They just keep constantly coming up to him and bugging him about Zim over and over and over again. And even when you hear some of the stories of how he gets treated by the fans, he's basically almost being abused by these fans. And when you see Dib there, sitting there, just like, no, Zim is returning, I kind of get the sense that he's trying to like turn to the audience that for years and years kept saying, when is Zim coming back? When is Zim coming back? When is Zim coming back? I think he's trying to turn to them and be like, this is you. This is what you are like. And you know something? As someone who has spent years going, so when are we getting Zim? When's Zim coming back? I understand it, because again, I've heard the stories of how this guy gets treated. I totally understand him using his art form to kind of get his revenge on those fans who basically bullied him for years about this thing. So I'm totally okay with that, but again, it just looks like Zim. It's amazing to me that almost nothing was said in that trailer, and yet I could hear the character voices coming at me. I'm hyped. I am excited. I am behind this. I'm totally on board with the Invader Zim movie. But alright, let's go ahead and get into the final trailer I'm going to talk about. It's the one that all you were waiting to hear my thoughts on. Titans. Now, I ranted on this for about a day on Twitter, and for anybody who saw that and knows my track record with the whole DC dark and edgy take, you probably think that I hated this trailer. And I kind of did, because it's terrible. But I wasn't looking at the trailer like, oh, they're ruining these characters. Oh, it's, what have they done to Robin? No. I never once said that while I was watching this trailer, because I was too busy laughing my ass off at this trailer. This trailer is hilarious. I watched this trailer 3 times in a row because it's the funniest goddamn thing I saw all week. If this was meant to be a parody of comic book movies going dark and edgy, you couldn't have made it better than what they made trying to be serious. Serious, go back in and superimpose in the corner the SNL logo on this and add a laugh track. This would have been a genius skit.
Fuck Batman.
There's no such thing as monsters.
I used to think that.
This would have been the kind of skit that would have won SNL an Emmy, because it was such a great take on the dark and edgy version of heroes who aren't dark and edgy. For God's sakes, the Teen Titans Go cartoon even did an entire episode poking fun at the very idea of making a dark and edgy Teen Titans. And DC looked at that and went, oh, that's some great serious pitching that you just did. You know what? We'll make that an actual thing. What? It's one thing for someone else to parody you and poke fun at you and for you to kind of laugh it off. It's another thing when your own company makes fun of you and you think it's a good idea. This is so goddamn funny to me. Okay, sorry. Alright, focus. But I had so many people on Twitter over the weekend, and by so many people I mean 3 who kept messaging me over and over and over again, just telling me that, oh, well, you know, in the comics, Dick Grayson has actually cursed more than any of the Robins ever. He's actually cursed this many times. It's like, brother, if you can actually count how many times a character has said the F word over their 60 or 70 year long run, it's not a defining trait of their character. I've eaten baba ganoush twice in my life. If you made the documentary of my life and it was just me eating baba ganoush, I'd look at that and be like, I don't know if that's the most accurate depiction of me that you could ever come up with. I had so many people, again, just like a handful, over and over and over again, just telling me, no, if you look at this one thing from the comics this many years ago, it was an actual thing, so they're actually referencing that. It's like, brother, I'm a Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man once in the comics murdered an innocent woman by punching her in the face. That's an actual thing that happened in Spider-Man continuity. If when Marvel got the Spider-Man rights back and they made a movie and the trailer was just him wailing on an innocent woman, blood splattering everywhere, I would not have walked out of that and be like, no, guys, it's a thing from the comics. If you look in this panel, it was a thing that, no, I'd look at that and be like, what the fuck did you just do? And I had another person contact me and go, well, they can't all be lighthearted and fun like the Marvel films. Again, I'm not saying they all need to be that. I don't want them to all be like the Marvel films. I don't want all superhero films and TV shows to be lighthearted fun. But you got a dude in here whose superpower is, I turn into a green monkey. And you're going to make that the dark and edgy thing? I don't even have the words to critique this properly. There's a character in here, Dove, she is the avatar of peace. She is the living embodiment of peace. And you have scenes in here of her cutting off a dude's ankle and then grabbing into their face with her claws and ripping his skin off. That's the avatar of peace? What the hell is Hawk, the avatar of war, going to be like? Is he just riding around on a flaming motorcycle with a Gatling gun in his chest? And he has a suit just made out of the mangled flesh of his dead enemies? Gatling gun in chest. Got it. And I made a Twitter post about that, about how Dove is just ripping dudes' faces off. And someone replied back to me and went, yeah, she's nothing like she is in the comics. And then he posted this panel from the comics where she used her powers to reflect a bullet that was shot at her. The bullet hit a wall, bounced off that, and then went through the hand of the guy that shot the bullet at her. And they were trying to tell me, like, yeah, see, there's some blood in the Dove comic. There's something that Dove actually did. Oh, you fake nerd, you don't know these things. Dude, if you honestly think I reflected a bullet away from me, and then that bullet bounced off something and went through the hand of the guy who shot it at me without me ever having to actually do anything. It was that person's own weapon and own violent tendencies hurting him back. If you think that's the same thing as, ripping your hand through another person's face, if you think that's the same thing, oh, brother. And of course, while I was talking about this on Twitter, I got those few people that you always get every single time that you badmouth the dark and edgy DC universe, where they came in and said, oh, well, you just like the Marvel movies because they're fun. That's literally like the definition of fun. A thing you enjoy. I'm sorry, how do I argue back against? That's like saying you only like that food because it's delicious. Yes? Question? What? Thank you? Are you complimenting me? I don't understand how this argument is going down. What's happening here? There's no tone. Are you being sarcastic? I don't understand this. But yeah, I got those few people going, well, you just don't like dark things. If you think that I don't like dark entertainment, brother, you must be new here. Every single October, I literally review a horror movie every single day of the month. Okay, I enjoy me some dark stuff. In fact, just to give you guys an idea of where my taste in entertainment lies, on my list of 5 favorite movies of all time, 3 of those movies are Chinatown, Taxi Driver, and Evil Dead. Trust me, I enjoy me some dark entertainment. That's why this trailer was so hilarious to me. This isn't dark, guys. This is snake oil. This is just something that they are peddling out there to young teenagers and preteens who are so desperate for something dark and something that makes them feel like an adult for watching it. It's not. It really, really isn't. This is to dark entertainment what Hot Topic is to goth. If you enjoy it, fine. I ain't gonna come in here and wag a finger at Hot Topic. I bought some cool Pokemon merchandise from there before. But if you enjoy it because it's true goth, no, it's not. And anybody who's really into it, they can tell. They can smell it on there that it's fake. This entire trailer just screams to me of a bunch of boardroom members sitting around desperately trying to think of something that teenagers will think is cool, and none of them know any teenagers. None of them have ever talked to any teenagers about this stuff. It's so desperate. The moment it stops and zooms in on Robin as he says, "Fuck Batman," that thing is shot the way that a little kid says their first swear word. Like, that thing is shot in that way that a little kid thinks, oh, if I say this swear word, I get to rule the universe. Like, you know that feeling that you had when you were a kid, that you had for, if you're like me, probably like 10 seconds before your parents punished you, where you thought, oh, if I say this swear word, then all of a sudden they're gonna treat me like an adult. My parents' minds are gonna be blown because they're gonna realize I'm not a little kid anymore, and then I'm gonna get to pick what we have for dinner every single night, because that's how all of this works, right? Hey, mom and dad, oh no, oh god. That's what this felt like to me. The only thing this trailer was missing was after he says "fuck Batman," to see Batman just coming in there and grabbing Robin by the ear and pulling him all the way back to the Batcave where he sent him to his room without dinner that night. Oh my god. It's this trailer, when Robin said "fuck Batman," you might as well just have paused the entire thing with a record scratch and then had a DC exec crawl out there on his hands and knees. He's going, please take us serious. Oh god, we just want to be a serious form of entertainment so bad. It's like superheroes kind of are a serious form of entertainment. Like, people enjoy them these days. No, they enjoy the Marvel stuff, and we don't want to be like Marvel because Marvel's stupid. Everyone hates Marvel, right? No, people actually kind of, I mean, Marvel's serious when they need to be serious, and they do goofy when they need to do goofy. There's an in-between of the two. No, please, I swear, just say we're not like Marvel. I just need someone somewhere on the internet to say, this isn't your parents' Teen Titans. I need that in order to survive. I feed off that headline. Just, we're not your parents' Teen Titans. I need someone to say that, and unironically, otherwise my entire career was for nothing. That's what this felt like. It was so desperate that it was hilarious to me. Oh dear Lord, this thing looks funny. Oh, and like I said with the Godzilla thing, that was kind of like my refresher moment, in which I was like, oh yeah, you know, aside from Marvel, most people don't really care about all this superhero stuff. So that was kind of my awakening to that. On Twitter, I follow roughly around like 200 people, and only like 10 to maybe 20 of them are comic book people. Everyone else comes from different forms of entertainment. So my feed on a regular basis is not filled up with comic book talk. I don't see a lot of that on my feed all the time. The day this came out, it was nothing but comic book talk. Everyone was talking about this Titans trailer, and everyone was talking about how bad it looks. Like, it was a wave, a tsunami wave, just crashing down on my computer. Just coming in there and just saying, this all looks awful. This looks so stupid. And the entire point of a trailer is to get people talking about. So congrats, Titans. You succeeded on that. You did indeed get people talking. But the second job of a trailer is to get people to buy your service. And I didn't see a lot of people who were ready to do that. I didn't see a lot of people like, oh, where do I sign up now? Pre-orders are starting for your subscription service. I saw people looking at that and just going, what idiot would fall for this? Who after seeing that is pre-ordering it? Again, I know there are people out there who are happy to start pre-ordering this subscription service, but again, for something like this to survive, you need to get not just comic book fans invested in it. You need to get, like, the regular movie-going fans invested in this. You need to get people out there who would subscribe to, like, I don't know, Crunchyroll or VRV or, Netflix or any of these other paid subscription services. You need to convince them why they need to move their money over to this. And I follow a lot of those people, and they were not convinced to move their money to this. And yeah, I can't help it, man. Them coming in here and going, we're gonna do the dark, edgy reboot of Titans. Again, I know a lot of people are gonna look at me like, oh, well, you just hate that because the Titans shouldn't be that way. Yeah, I'll throw that out there. I'll throw out there as like, well, you just really did not understand these characters. That's definitely part of it. I talked about that already in this video. But another part of it is, I feel like they're just trying to sell, it's the dark, edgy Titans. And I look at that like, and? What else you got? Because it's not the early 2000s anymore. You want to have all the Titans dressed like their characters in The Matrix as well? This is played out, brother. This has been done. Listen, we're living in the day and age where Archie has a dark, gritty reboot. You can't just come in here anymore and just say, it's the dark, edgy version of this. It's like, yeah, and? You gotta give me more, alright? It's kind of like saying, and your burger comes with fries. Oh, okay. I mean, I can get that almost anywhere. But, I mean, I guess it's a thing. Alright, sure. Are they like seasoned fries? Seasoned fries are okay. Are they sweet potato fries? I'll take some sweet potato fries. Oh no, they're just regular fries. Okay. Well, I guess I'll just eat these fries and judge the fries for what they are. Hey, this isn't a real fry. I snapped it in half and it's just actually a straw dipped in yellow paint. Oh, I know real fries and I know that's not a fry. Oh my god. Okay, but yeah, I'll also just go out on this. Again, just all those people out there who are like, oh, well, at least it's not like a Marvel movie. Guys, we're living in the post-Infinity War day and age. And I'll just finish by saying this. To all the people out there who's like, well, at least it's not like a Marvel movie. At least it's dark and not like Marvel. Fuck Batman has got nothing on Mr. Stark, I don't feel so well. But there you go, those are my thoughts about all of the major trailers from San Diego Comic-Con. I am completely beat after recording 2 San Diego Comic-Con wrap-up videos today, so let me know your thoughts on all these trailers down below. I'm gonna go and just get a nice cool lemonade because I am melting in this recording room. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you click that subscribe button, and you can also always contact me on Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time. Bye.